It's been more than a year now since Samsung released this smartphone. It got a name Ultra and also comes with the Ultra price tag. Ultra means something that is beyond ordinary. Does this smartphone justify its name? Let's find out. Well, starting from design and going all the way to conclusion, we will talk deeply about this device. For every good thing, I will rate this smartphone out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have been using this device since past 1 year and no doubt it's one of the most amazing devices I have ever used. But things are not always perfect. It's a really big device with 6.9-inch screen. Every time you hold this device in your hands, it feels like you're holding a big piece of rock. Yes, at least I felt like that. Well, don't forget that it weighs tremendous 220 grams. The glass and metal material makes this device much more comfortable. There are not too many color options. I have the cosmic black version with me. The back catches your fingerprints and to be honest, I don't really like that. This happens because of glass back. The hardware is pretty great. You have got the speedy USB-C, stereo speakers and the solid button. One of the greatest thing about this device is that it supports microSD card, while the S21 family does not support SD card. It has got the IP68 rating to save your device from dust and water. Sadly, there is no headphone jack in this device. Well, almost all the smartphone companies have ditched the headphone jacks. The camera module is so big. For me, it's ultra big. The Note 20 also have a really big camera module, but as compared to this one, Note 20's camera module seems pretty great in terms of design. S20 Ultra features 100x zoom, that is the reason for big camera module. The Bixby key now is not a part of this smartphone, but it still is living inside the phone. Well, one bad thing about design is that it's a little slippery, and while using the device with one hand, you can even drop your phone. The center-mounted punch-hole camera looks pretty great and gives the smartphone much better look than the previous S10 family. At least for me, I personally like S20 Ultra's punch-hole camera as compared to the previous S10 family. For design, I will rate it 7 out of 10. There is no doubt that S20 Ultra featured the best specs at the time of launch, but still after more than a year, it's a beast. It features the Samsung's AMOLED display and of course company has consistently used the best screens for their smartphones. They did the same this time as well. You probably know that it features 120Hz display rate, but unfortunately you can't use it with the maximum resolution. It only works with Full HD Plus display. It's unjustifiable for a device that costs this much. While even Oppo and other smartphones can go to Quad HD Plus resolution with 120Hz. Well, I think for this much costly smartphone, it's weird that we can't use full resolution with 120Hz. For a screen itself, it's good enough. While using the smartphone in direct bright sunlight, there is no issue. You can push the brightness to maximum to view phone contents and you can choose to keep the brightness as low as you want so that it can singe your eyes at night. There are two screen modes, natural and vivid. There is also a color slider to switch between cool and warm colors. Well, for me, I never prefer changing the natural mode or using the slider settings because natural mode is good enough that it never disturbs you during day-to-day use. There is an always-on display with different clock styles so that you can change according to your choice. The auto brightness works really well. Even for my taste, it's incredible. Because on most smartphones, I don't prefer auto brightness. I always used to adjust the brightness manually because they are not that much accurate, but for this smartphone, I can say that Samsung had worked really well even on small stuffs. One of my favorite thing about this device is obviously smoothness. Well, jumping from 60Hz to 120Hz refresh rate is greatly noticeable. Scrolling and animations are much smoother. No matter what resolution you choose, you will get the 20.5:9 aspect ratio. The sharpness is just amazing. While using the HD Plus display, you will see some degradation, but at the maximum resolution, the sharpness becomes outstanding. You can choose between 60Hz and 120Hz refresh rate. 60Hz is what most screens use, but 120Hz is best for gaming. In 2021, most of the smartphones are providing 120Hz display. In short, the display is great, providing sharp colors and great clarity. The screen is HDR10 Plus certified and while watching the right content, it delivers impressive dynamic range. Samsung certifies that you can manage every aspect of the screen. S20 Ultra's display is great enough to beat the 2021 flagships. I will rate the display 9 out of 10. Samsung is still using the ultrasonic fingerprint scanners in a world where every smartphone is using optical ones. The biggest downside of optical fingerprint readers is that they need to light up your finger to unlock the smartphone, and that is where it's a little difficult to unlock the device in dark environments. For ultrasonic scanners, they are a bit slower than the optical ones, but on S20 you can turn off the animation to make it read your fingerprint faster. They are also less reliable and accurate than the optical ones. For my taste, the fingerprint is just good, so I'm gonna rate it 6 out of 10. Samsung put the best specs in S20 Ultra at the time of launch, and I'm happy to tell you that it performs well even after a year. I have an Exynos 990 powered version rather than the Snapdragon 865. We all know that Snapdragon is a bit faster than the Exynos one, but for Exynos, it's still among the fastest phones I've used so far. It featured 12 gigs of RAM paired with 120 gigs of storage. I noticed no dullness or any other problem in performance. Every game I ran performed very well, even though no matter what heavy task you put on this, it will turn out to be a perfect smartphone in terms of performance. Without any doubt, you should not have to worry about the performance and also about it getting too warm to use the device. Yes, it heats up a bit, but only when you play heavy games on it for a long time, but not too much warmer that it feels uncomfortable. There is nothing to say much about the performance. It performs well all the time I use it. I'll rate the performance 9 out of 10. Of course, the battery life is not that good as compared to the time when it was new. It got the 5000 mAh of battery under the hood, which is still much better than the most of 2021 flagships. With out-of-the-box settings like Full HD Plus with 60Hz refresh rate, you can easily use this device for a full day without any problem. In fact, sometimes it jumps to a second day with some battery left with it. With full resolution or Full HD Plus at 120Hz, sometimes it barely lasts for a day. The phone still charges up at a good speed, whether you put it on a wireless charger or a wired charger. I've seen a little bit degradation in charging speed as compared to when it was new. You get the 25-watt charger out of the box that charges up the device from 0 to 100 in over an hour or sometimes in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Charging the device on wireless charger is not much good as compared to the wired charger. For battery life, it's 7 out of 10. Up till now, you might be thinking S20 Ultra is the best smartphone to use in 2021. The Samsung's camera software is hugely disappointing. This huge camera bump and 108 megapixel didn't provide what I was expecting for. 108 megapixel camera have problem while focusing, and sometimes it provides grainy and soft images. Things got bit better with new updates, but this device always short of greatness in terms of the camera setup. It's a good camera phone, but not the best one. After many system upgrades, the camera still takes time to focus, but still the S20 Ultra's main camera delivers stunning images in broad daylight. The quality is pretty great with almost no noise and very good dynamic range. The colors are a bit popped as compared to the real life, but that's good for my taste. The only issue with the main camera is white balance, which sometimes provides warm images. The ultra-wide camera is good too, with impressive dynamic range. It provides great details with less noise. Colors are impressive with ultra-wide too. Until 10x zoom, the camera performs well. The 10x images are understandably less impressive. Sharpness and detail levels are still decent, but when zooming more than 10x, images become grainy and dull. I shot with the 100x space zoom and that became really dull as compared to when it was new. There isn't any need for this camera at all. 100x zoom is not what you can use while capturing your best moments. The main sensor provided great nighttime shots, and well, it didn't disappoint me. The shots are great with good level of detail and less noise. Color rendering is good with a bit of pop, dynamic range is good too. And you can also use night mode to capture night shots with greater details. When you go with the night mode, it also performs much better than expected. The shadows lit up and colors become more saturated. It takes time while capturing some shots during night with the night mode. Well, that's because it works to make the shot look better. The ultra-wide camera at night is not as good as compared to the main sensor, but it still delivers impressive pictures with average dynamic range. Zoom at night produces pleasing images at 4x with good details, color rendering and dynamic range. Going more than 4x make the images less attractive. Talking about the selfie camera, it also performs well in daylight, with high level of details, punchy colors and perfect dynamic range. Live focus, that is portrait mode, also performs well, but sometimes it got confused in subject separation. While using the selfie camera at night, it became so dull. I haven't expected that. When there is a light source around you at night, the selfie camera can capture much better shots as compared to one when there is no light source. Overall, the S20 Ultra's camera is great, but still there are some issues. The ultra-wide is not as good as I was expecting after a year, and the main sensor also has some focus problem. There is also a portrait video mode. It is a portrait video for you to get an idea about what it looks like. I will rate the camera 6.5 out of 10. Okay, so I'm making this video with the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra's front camera with the built-in microphone. Let me know about the video quality and the audio quality. And I haven't enabled the portrait mode, no background blur effect. The next video will be with the portrait mode enabled. Okay, so I've enabled the portrait mode So you can see the background blur effect, and I think it's really good. Like, it's only blurring the background. Let me know what you think about this portrait mode video. It's looking amazing, I think. The S20 Ultra made a huge entry back when it was released. Everyone shared their own opinions. Nothing has changed since then. Samsung put the impressive hardware in this device. The performance is great, the camera is still good, except that focusing problem, and also the camera can't compare with the latest flagships. And software experience is good. Pricing is a real problem here. Samsung is still selling S20 Ultra on Ultra price. They're still selling for $1,399. With the year-old hardware, the price should have been dropped. The S21 Ultra costs $200 less than the S20 Ultra. Why you should spend $1,400 on a year-old phone when you can purchase latest phone with the new hardware for $200 less? There is no confusion here. Get the S21 Ultra rather than the S20 Ultra. Overall, I will rate the smartphone 7.5 out of 10. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. My name is Hamza Mukhtar. This is the Tech Fielder, and I'll catch you in the next one.